In this video here, we're going to look at the 2009 intersection of surfaces questions. It's the 2009 question. So it's the first year that this exam was examined, and this is one of the harder questions that you could possibly get on it. Okay, normally they're slightly easier than that now, the last couple of ones that have come up, so this is one of the harder ones. So I'll just go straight into it. So the 3D graphic on the right shows a piece of sculpture from the entrance lobby of an Irish company, Prison Technologies. So the projections of the sculpture are shown in figure B3. So first of all, that's our graphic or pictorial. So that gives us a fair indication there of where our intersection lines will be in our question. Okay, so projections of the sculpture are shown in figure B3, which is our elevation on our plan. So the sculpture consists of a square-based shaped solid which stands upright on the floor. So that's our square-based solid, and we can see there it has a pyramid head and a pyramid top on it. So that's it, and it's sitting on the floor around the horizontal plane. This solid is penetrated by a square-based prism. Okay, so we know that that one that's going through is a square-based prism. All sides are the same, 90 degrees between each side. Of 350 millimeter side is shown. Draw the projections of the sculpture showing all lines of interpenetration. 3D graphic shows their text. Oh yeah, we can ignore that. That bit of text is not there. You don't need to do that. So the first thing I look for is a scale. 1 is to 10. Straight away, I change everything before I start drawing, because otherwise I will go wrong. So I scale everything down there. Degrees never change. Okay? So I can work away there now, and I can just draw my elevation and plan. I'll have this square-based object first. There's not much really involved in that, so I'm going to get that done there now first. So there's my elevation and plan of that square-based object there. There's not, it's fairly obvious to sort. Obviously this line here is hidden at the back. That's the back edge going down along, we can't see it. That's the back sloping line for the roof. It's hidden again, we can't see it. Again, I have this in slightly heavier than I would normally, because I want to make sure you can see it on the camera there, because some of that will be gone with the interpenetration when that comes into it. Now I want to draw in my square-based prism going through it. So the first thing I'm going to do is look and see what they tell me about that. They tell me something there that I need to change, actually, just looking at it. Okay, so that's 25. So they tell me that the distance from here to here is 25 on that. That's not going to give me much really to draw it from, but what they do tell me is that this here is at an angle tilted up at 85. Right, so it's not straight, it's slightly tilted up, and the sides there make an angle of 85 degrees with a horizontal line. Okay, so I'm going to work with that first, and I also know, so I have this point here kind of as my leading point, because I know that's the only known point really that I have for. Okay, so I can follow that up there at 30 degrees. And then I can draw in my square, and then I can drop all my points back down along. Okay, so that's the first thing I'm going to do, is set up this at 85 degrees in my view over here. So for that, I'm just going to get my t-square first off. Okay, so I'm going to draw a random line at 85 degrees first. Okay. So at 85 degrees from there, actually come over another little bit. So from that point there, I'm going to draw up a line at 85 degrees. Okay, so I have my point. This line now is going to be 85 degrees. I can use that now in a minute. So the next thing I need to do is come up at 30 degrees from that bottom corner as I'm shown in my question. So 30 degrees from here up along. From that bottom corner there. I don't mind that doesn't line up with there. That's not what I'm aiming for really. Because I don't mind that that doesn't line up. Okay, so we should be able to see that line up there at 30 degrees. And now I'm basically going to replicate. I know, looking at my question, okay, I know the height of that object when it gets cut off is level with the top of that. Okay. and I basically want to draw in my square here now. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is set up my 85 degrees. Just my line at 85 degrees. I'm going to go right from this corner here. And now I can start drawing in my square of side 35. Okay, that's not a horizontal line I'm drawing now. It is 90 degrees to that 85 degree line. Okay, so I set my compass to my 35. Just marking off that this is the 35 now that I'm going to use to set my compass to. So my compass there now is set to that distance there of 35 millimeters. I'm going to draw in my cube now up here, or my square. Finish that off. That's an end view now of that square there in position. Okay, so I'm just going to number my sides. Now I always like to go with the one that's nearest the horizontal, or nearest the vertical plane I should say, as being 1. This edge here is 1, which I can see is represented by this dotted one here. Okay, because that's the one I can't see. That's dotted, that's the one that's nearest that vertical plane, which is this bottom corner here. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, and I can just drop them back down then into my elevation. And they're back down at my angle of 30 degrees. So I've then dropped back down to elevation, and I know, looking at my question, that point travels out, and where it hits that guy there, I can then drop it down. And this is all going to be solid, so I can just draw it in normal for the moment. That travels back along. I have that line gone down, so I have all the ones gone down. I can at this stage, if I want, I can drop that straight down to my plan. Okay, so that's dropped down to plan, and that's a distance of 25 at the back. That's going to extend up to edge 4. So all them lines cut down through that there. That's my ground. Okay, so there's my elevation lined out. No, obviously no interpenetration done yet. And I'm going to line out the bottom part of it. For the purpose of this, I'm actually going to just extend that ground a little bit for a minute. Let's see why. So I'll drop down the back edge of that there now first. So I know my object is going to be going between these two lines now. And now I want to draw in spaces for those. Okay, so what I want to do, we need to look first of all 90 degrees to the way that we're after projecting that up. Okay, so that's projected up at 30. So we'll be looking at those there at an angle of 60, just for spaces. Okay, so you'll see what I mean by that in 1 minute now. So as we're looking down, That's edge 2. That's edge 3. So I'm just going to use that now for spaces in my plan. Okay, so my first edge, okay, I can see from the drawing where it is already. It's not giving me a distance or anything like that, but it is in line with the back corner. So that's going to be my edge number 1. I pointed that out earlier on. That there is my number 1, that was my 2, that was my 3, and that was my 4. So that's edge 1, and that's edge 1 there, the one that's nearest the vertical plane. So it's in line with this corner here. And so that's edge 1, and it finishes off there. So now I want to get the next one over from there. So as we're looking down, this is 1. Then we're going to, when we go across, looking in plan, we're going to meet edge 4. And then we're going to get to 2. And then we're going to get to 3, which is going to be on the outside of this object here. So it's going to be 1, 4, 2, and 3. And we take this here then as our distances. Okay, so these spaces here as our distances for our plan. Okay, so there are my spaces, or my distances between my edges now for my plan. So I just get my compass, or sometimes, you know, I like to use a sheet of paper. Sometimes it's handier. Just use a bit of paper and to mark them off. Okay, so that's 1, that's 4, that's 2, and that's 3. So as long as I label them, I can't really go wrong. I'm just going to transfer those measurements down. Of course, you can use your compass, whatever method you want. Okay, so 1, 4, that was 2, and the outside one then was 3. So again, I can just project these across my plan. Okay, so just looking at that there now, I know that this guy here, which is the edge that's on the bottom, which is 2, that's going to be a hidden edge. Okay, so that one there is actually going to be dotted in this view when I'm finished. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I'm just going to have a look here at the back of it. Okay, because it's got a little bit funny there at the back. Basically, that's relating to this cut. And if we were to almost extend this guy here to the ground originally, okay, we can drop that down. If we were to extend that edge then across, and if we were to extend our edge here across, it's going to give us a point. Okay, so I'm going to work at that there now. That's why I extended the ground there earlier on. So I'm going to drop down that point there on the ground. Okay. Now we'll worry with that then when we're doing our interpenetration section and we'll get this detail here finished off. But I just know that I'm going to have to use this space here for that drawn. Okay, so I don't want to overlap it. So now I worry about the interpenetration part of it. So we're going to take an auxiliary, looking down along the same way as we done the last few questions, looking down along at our 30 degrees, draw our new vertical plane, take our distance from our plan and mark them on. First thing I want to do though is label up my things that I have here. Now I have my square base pyramid labeled up. So this here is edge 1. 1 is going to extend out there. This is edge 4, edge 2, and edge 3. Okay, we can see this up in this view here as well. So we're just going to label them in that view as well. And so that's edge 4 going down along there. That's edge 3. This is 1. And the bottom one being 2. Okay, so I don't want to forget about those working my way down along there. Okay, and the same thing with this, I'm going to label up my other one, my other object. So 0 being my apex, and then A, B, C, D. So they are points on the top. Okay, so A is up here, B is at the back, C is here, and D being here. And underneath that, then I'm going to label the points that are on the ground as well. So we'll continue on A, B, C, D, and we'll go to E, F, G, and H, and they're the ones that are on the ground. Okay, so that's going to be E. This guy here is going to be H, G, and F. Okay, so they're all labeled. Look down along my 30 degrees, produce a new vertical plane, and redraw this object over here then. Okay, taking distances from my original XY down to my plan. Okay, so I'm just going to skip through that there now because you know how to do that. So now I have my square-based object redrawn, looking down that direction. So points just projected, distances taken from plan, plotted onto my plan over here. Okay, so as we can see there, if we just look at it, that was my distance, I think, from my 0. Okay, so I projected 0 down along, and that was my distance for 0 over here. All the points are the very same. This edge here is at the back of it. This time we can't see it, so that's why I have it dotted. Same with this edge, same with this edge. All the rest of the edges are visible. We can't see them. I'm going to the very same now with my edges 1, 2, 3, and 4. Take my distances then from here down to, say, edge 1, edge 4, edge 2, and edge 3. I'm just going to plot them off here, and I'll get my square then cutting awkwardly, I'd imagine, somewhere through here. Okay, so there's my square base shape cutting in through it. Part of it cuts into the roof, part of it cuts into the walls that are in that object. So basically then, same way as on the others, I want to label up and figure out what way it's going. Okay, so if I start at 1 and I work my way around and go back to 1 again. Okay, and 1 is actually lined up right at that corner. So 1 goes to 2. On the way it meets a point. Again, we're going to go to P, Q, R, and S. So I will say that's point P. Goes to 2. Goes along here. Now it's cutting out to that back edge at a point as well. So we're with the entry points first and then the exit points. So the entry points basically being the points on our front side of it. And then when it comes out here, these are the exit points, the points on the back of it. Okay, so 1 to P to 2. P, and then we have Q to 3. And let's say this is R. It's 4. And let's go back to 1. Then we're going to have S as well. S, and we're going to have also point T. Okay. So there are all my points there going around that like that. Again, the ones that are on edges are easy to locate because we can just project it back up, and wherever they hit the corresponding edge here, that has to be it. Projecting down the plan, wherever hit the corresponding edge, that has to be it. With the ones that are crashing into faces, that's where we have to put in our fake generators or our fake lines. Okay, and for these we're going to have entry ones and also exit ones. Okay, so entry ones on this side where it cuts into it, exit ones here where it starts coming out of it again. Okay. So I'm going to deal with all of the entry ones there first anyways. Okay. So we'll deal the ones on the edges first. They're easy to locate. So we'll go to locate point S. That's on the edge 0 to C, 0 to C. That's it over there. So just project it back up at the same angle that we projected down at, which is 30 degrees. Okay, so that's S up there. So I label it. Labels are very important. Alright, so T is on the edge C to B. Okay, so that's that back edge there. Okay, so if we look at it here, that's it on plan here. That's it on this plan. And it's actually at the back of this here. That line really should be dotted. That should be hidden. Okay, so T is on that line. So I project it up. I put it on that line. So that's T. And then we also have P. P is on the edge C. What's that? CG. So that's P. And on another edge there, the entry point is going to be R on the line DC at the top. So it's R. Then it's going to go back to 4. Okay, so again, 4.4, we need our fake edge or our generator line. So I'm just going to put in another orange line for that. So from 0, I know where 0 is, through 0.4, and I'm going to go down to this edge DC. I want to put in this orange line over in my elevation. So just project back up that point to the line DC. Put in that fake generator there, that fake edge, where that cuts through my line 4 that I projected down. That has to be the one that's on it, so that's it there. So that's 0.4. Okay, and I can do the same then for 3 and for 2. Okay, so I can do the same there for 3 and for 2. And for 1 also as well, because 1, although it appears it's at this back corner, that's an exit point of it. It crashes through this face first on the way into the object. Okay, so I'll just do that there now. So I'll just use a different color. Okay, so again, I want to go from a known point. It has to be on the same surface though. So this is the surface, say C or B, C, G, F. And it's crashing into the surface there. So ignore that back detail for a moment. It's going in there first, and then it comes back out at that back point back there. Okay, but it's on the way into the object, it goes through the middle of that face first. Okay, so I want to go from a known point to another known point. So I will say I will go from, doesn't make much of a difference. I'll go from C through point 1 and onto that edge there, BF. So I locate that point on BF. So locate that point on the edge BF. That's it there. Okay. And that goes to C. So that green line now corresponds to that green line there. Okay. And where my edge 1 crosses it, that's my point number 1. And so that's an entry point. Okay, so just do the same then for the other ones. Okay, so I never wrote in my also but those other points located there, point 2 and point 3, done the very same way. I need to write down my order now so I don't go wrong. So I'm going to start at 1 and we're going to work our way around. Okay, so we go from 1. On the entry points, it goes to P, goes to 2. The entry points again are not the exit points. On the entry points, it goes to 3. It hits R. It hits 4. Then S. And then T. And then it goes back to 1. So 1, P, 2, 3, R, 4, S, T, and then back to 1 again. So in that order, that's where we're going. And I just need to join up the very same points in up here. Okay. So I think that sometimes help you if sometimes over here, say 1 to P, as I'm looking at it in my elevation, okay, which is essentially looking at it in this way. I'm not going to see that 1 to P. So that line there is going to be hidden. So write a H there underneath that. Okay, so 1 to P. And then as such P to 3 again. It's going to be kind of behind that edge there. So again, that's going to be hidden. Sorry, no, 1 to P to 3. So it's along that front face that will be visible. Okay, so P then as it makes the way to 3, that will be visible. And so that one there as it makes it up along will be visible. On the way it does have to hit 2 here first. Sorry, P to 2 is going to be hidden. And then we're going to have a visible line then fully from 2 up to 1. Okay, let's get focus there. So a visible line fully from 2 up to my 3, I should say. So here to here is hidden. So P to 2 is hidden. 2 straight up the 3, that will be completely visible. And then we'll be going from 3 then up along there. So again, that's going to be visible. R then to 4, again will be visible. 4 then to S, again we'll be back behind the object, that will be hidden. Okay, S then that goes down to T, that again is going to be away from us, we won't be able to see it. That's going to be hidden. And T then back to 1, so this here back down along to 1, that again is going to be hidden. Okay, so that just kind of helps me when I'm joining them up here, that I don't go wrong. Okay, so 1 to P. And we said that was hidden. 1 to P is hidden. P to 2 is hidden. Two to 3, that's visible. That's completely on that face. We can see the whole lot. So 2 to 3 is visible, and it's a straight line on that face. So it's for that edge, 2 to 3 crashes into that front face there. And then 3 to R is going to be visible again. Again, it's on the same face. R to 4, that section there is always going to be visible. That part cuts into the roof, and then it kind of slopes down away from the roof. We can't really see it. 4 down to S. Okay, so that little section there, that's hidden. S then, excuse me, S goes to T, again hidden. Okay, and T then has to go back to 1, and again that's going to be hidden. Okay, so that's our shape then, our interpenetration is starting to take shape, so we can draw that in there now. That'd be heavy. That's our edge 4, crashes into the roof. And then we're going to go to our edge 3. I know it crashes into that front face there. Okay, so that's going to be hidden all the way until it hits that point. Or sorry, it's going to be visible, I should say, all the way until it hits that point. All the way till it hits, crashes into that face, and then it obviously cuts into the object. Okay, and then we have our edge 1, which is at the back of the object. We saw that from our question. So that's completely hidden all the way. And we have our edge 2 then, which will be visible obviously until it disappears into the object. I'll just go over my edges there now. The back edge of the object, that is not cut away or anything, but it is invisible to us as such. It's at the back of the object, as well as this sloping roof going up along. Again, the rest of the object then more or less got chopped away. Just a small little bit of hidden there. Hidden there and behind that, that's that front edge going up along. Small little bit then that was hidden there, just there. Okay, so there are all the entry points done on my elevation. I want to drop those entry points into my plan. That's just a matter of just dropping them down. For all the world, we'll say point 3. Drop that straight down to edge 3 down there like that. Okay, so we can drop the rest of them down. For my plan, a lot of these lines are slightly going to overlap each other in that. We're going to go in the same order that we have gone in already. So 1 to P to 2 to 3 to R. So always stick in the same order, no matter what the shape is, no matter what the object is. So we start at 1. Okay, so it should be on that edge there. So I dropped it down, and that's the edge then that it's on. Okay, so 1 goes to P. So the P is actually ending up here at this point. So we go from our 1 to the P. It's going to be dotted. We're going to go from P to 2. Okay, which is just there. Again, that's going to be dotted. We're going to go from 2 to 3. And so 2 to 3. On the way, then we're going from 2 to 3. Also, that's just straight up. And we'll have R then kind of over that as we're looking at it in plan. So it'll be invisible kind of until we get to the R, and then R to 3 will be seen. Okay, so we just go 2 to R is invisible, and then kind of from R to 3 we're going to see it then after that. And the way our object goes, then we have 3 to R, so that's just back again. R to 4, and that's on top of the roof there. We're going to see that looking down on top of it. That's obvious. So R to 4, we can see that there. So then 4 goes along there to S. That again is on the roof, so that's going to be seen. 4 goes to R, or sorry, 4 goes to S. S goes on to T. So again, that's on the roof, that's going to be seen. Okay, and that's really it for that then, because then T then just goes back to 1. Okay, so T then is going to go back to 1. And that's kind of the shape that it makes. So we just finish off our heavy lines. So from 3, it's heavy all the way in then, obviously until it hits our object. Okay, 1, the other outside part is heavy all the way until it hits again, or 1 here, a little bit of hidden there. Now if we look at our question, we can see the front part of that there, right, is flattened out almost. Okay, which is kind of that section there. That's kind of flattened out. We have that there in elevation. So we can just drop that down to our plan. We'll locate this point here, and we'll show you how to get this point as well. Right, on this side obviously it just goes straight to our edge. What do we call it? Just goes straight to edge 3. It doesn't appear to go to edge 1. Okay, so if you look at your auxiliary view, you might see why that is, but we're going to do it now anyways. Okay, so we can just drop that straight down. First of all, that point, drop that straight down. I think I've done already. I have. And that's my point here. Okay, so it does go straight to edge 3, but it doesn't go straight to edge 1. Okay, so if we're looking at our auxiliary view over here, okay, so you're looking straight down the top, obviously it's a plan, so we can see it then, it does go straight then to edge 3. As we're looking at it, okay, we're looking down on top there. Okay, so as we're looking, it's going to be off then more or less by that distance there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take that distance, Okay, looking down the plan, that would be our horizontal distance, and we're going to mark that off over here. Went a little bit further, I should stop there now. Okay, so there's that section there, more or less complete. Now I can heavy in that's edge 4, the top edge, until it hits it. Crashed into the roof at that point there, so that's where that finishes off. Okay. And that's everything else is fine. That should be hidden detail to there. And everything else is more or less heavy then within our plan. So that's at 60 degrees, so I can just now our object is cutting in, it's hitting our face here. So we're just going to look here and see exactly what's happening. I want to have more detail here really than here, because this is just an edge. It's all just going to run flat into the edge, but here my face is tilted away, so I'm going to have a little bit of detail there where the object is cutting in. Okay, so we'll look at that there now. So there are my exit points, as I was saying there earlier on. So I just want to work those out there. Okay, so we're saying that on the way in, it doesn't hit the same edges as it hits on the way out. Just looking at it there, there's not even as many points. So on the way out then, that is going to be right there at that point. So point 1 is going to be right there at that bottom corner. Okay, so there's not much I really need to worry about that there. I have that there already. Okay. So that's for my edge 1. I had it called point E. Okay, so the two of them meet there at that point. Now also, so that's the back face. So you can imagine D goes to A kind of along that back face. Okay, so that's that back face. That's really the only way that that's coming out. It's not cutting into this face. It's also in the other ones where it's entry on. So we also have to deal with point 3 there. It does come out through a point 3. Point Q as well. That's an exit point. Right, it goes straight from 3 to 4. That R doesn't exist on that back face. Okay, so it goes from 3 to 4. Back down to 1. So 1, 4, 3, Q. And then it's joined back to 1 there along the ground almost. Okay, so this section of it here, we're not really worrying about for the exit points. So we do need to go 1 to 4 to 3 to Q back to 1. So 1 to 4 to 3 to Q, and then it will of course go back to 1 as well. So I'm going to do the harder ones first. So 4, I suppose. I'm going to go for my known point. So H through point 4. Better join that properly there now. So H through point 4. And it hits that top edge there. So project up that generator line. Hit that top edge there. Join H to it. And edge 4. So that's that point. And also for 3, I'm going to do the very same thing. So again, I'm going to go from H through point 3 up to the top edge, which is AD. Project up that point first to my elevation. Again, I went from point H, so I'm going to go from point H here as well. Up to that point where it hits edge 3, which is this guy here. So that's point 3. We have this one down there, that bottom corner. So 1 goes to 4, 1 goes to 4, goes to 3. Where does she go then? Down to Q. I want to locate that. It's on the bottom edge. Just drive it up. That's it there. Okay, it goes in Q, then it goes back to 1. So I can see it there, 1 to 4 to 3 to Q, and that's kind of the shape it makes on its exit from our object. What's going to be visible? Well, from here to here is going to be visible anyways. And the object comes down in front of that, so this is behind that, so 1 to 4 actually is going to be invisible. That's visible. Down as far as 3. Then 3 goes to Q on the ground. Again, that is going to be visible. Like so. Q goes back to 1. I just want to finish off my lines now, so that's edge 4 all the way. So I'm going to see that. And edge 3 all the way, I will also see that. So that's it as it cuts out of the object. And that's really all I need to worry about. On my exit points for my elevation, I just want to drop those now down to plan. Before I do that, I'm just going to heavy in what I see on this object here. So all this is behind it, obviously, until it gets to here. All this edge here is going to be visible. Okay, so that's all that there complete. I just have to look over it. So that's all that there complete. Okay, so that's heavy to there. So we should be able to make out then what that is after that. So that's our object cutting through, that's our object in the middle, that's our object exiting. Okay, so that's our square base prism cutting through. That's our entry points, goes through our object. These are our exit points then, which I also need to locate down here in my plan. Okay, so that's easy enough to do. I just drop them straight down. So 4 is going to be there. 3 is going to be down there. We also want to drop down our Q. And we know our 1 is at that corner anyways. I also want to drop down this guy here, hits the ground. So that's edge 3 where that hits the ground. Okay, so that's my point there. Point on the ground also here. Q that I drop down is going to be on the ground there. Our edge 4 continues all the way back along. Obviously it comes out here, but it extends also until it hits this here. Okay, so we can extend that until we hit our back edge of our object there. So extends from here out to here. So do the same in my plan. I extend it out to there like that. Now we can see in our question, that's that edge I've just had to draw on actually. Okay, and I can also draw in this edge here now, which is my point that I'm after dropping down for my plan. Sorry, for my elevation, which is here. Okay, so 3 basically is on the ground. When I extend it, it goes back into that point Q, which goes back to 1. That's Q, so it will extend back into Q. It's underneath, it's on the ground. Okay, that'll go back to 1. The solid edge 3 is overlapping that, as we can see it there. So I draw that in heavy again down here. Okay, but it stops when it gets to there. Okay, that edge when it extends it stops there. So obviously I can't extend it back to here. Okay. So what I want to do, looking at my question, we have a little slope there. Okay, we discussed that a tiny bit at the start. That slope is on the ground. Okay, so it's kind of relating to our section here that we would have on the ground, but I want to find out exactly where that slope is now. I know it finishes at that line somewhere, but I'll find out exactly where it would finish. So what I need to do is I need to extend that top edge until it hits the ground, and that's basically the way they would be joined up. Okay, if that top edge, get that chuck out of the way, sorry. If my edge number 4 was extended to hit the ground, and then I brought it back to my edge number 3, that's going to give me that same slope, what we call the horizontal trace, I suppose. Okay, so I extend edge 4 to hit the ground. I've done that at the start, and I extend it out here. Okay, I wanted to avoid that overlapping there, but I should nearly get away with it. Just about. Okay, so it still does overlap it slightly. So I'm just going to extend edge 3 there now to hit that. That's only that little bit there I need. Okay, because that's the sloping part that we're looking for. And we're going to do the very same basically over here at this side of the object. Okay, so we have that slope again there. So we have that slope, so it's from that corner there. Just looking at my question, it is. And we extend that back along again. Now the marks going for this would be minute. As long as you got your elevation, your plan done, most intersection done, you're sorted. And again, they have not come up as hard as this in recent years. Okay, there's a fair bit of drawing inside in that question there. Now the top edge, A to D, that's going to go in heavy. And the same for my bottom edge here from 3 out long. See that corner there, that's also going to be heavy. And our ridges of our roof, if you like. Okay, so you can see our clearly there, elevation, plan, auxiliary plan. I'm just going to add in a little bit of colour now, label up everything. And so this was probably the longest video I would have done. You would be fairly motoring to get this done, I suppose, within your half an hour. Now it is doable, alright. But as I say, ones that as hard as this and haven't come up in the last number of years. Okay, when this topic was asked. So again, just use a few different colours on it to distinguish between them in different views. I would not suggest putting as much colour of that inside an exam question at all. Small little bit, even just your coloured lines, my fake lines that I have in, leave them at that, and that'll do.